So for those of you that don't know me, hi. I'm a lot of fun and holy. So I'm a wife, like she said, and I have 3 kids. My husband has actually been a part of Awaken Church for 11 years, and he brought me 8 years ago, and that was the first time I ever dedicated my life to Christ. So Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Well, I lived a whole 23 years of life leaning on my own understanding. So, could I really trust God with my heart and my money? Unfortunately, no. I was so badly bruised and broken from my past, and getting to know God and who I was through God was not easy at all. 2 Corinthians 9:6. Remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. So I would actually say that my husband and I were those one foot out Christians. We would tithe here and there, we would come here and there. We were actually expecting to live our best life, but gave God our leftovers. And because of that, the enemy surely had his way with us, since he knew we weren't all in with God. So to be transparent, it actually took me losing myself, losing my husband, my family, my everything, to realize that I had to release the keys of control and allow myself to trust his plan and not mine, if I wanted my family and myself back.
So good.
So when I reflect on this journey of trusting God with my heart and my money, God reminded me that sometimes to endure our harvest, we still have to deal with some weeds. Matthew 13:24, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of the parable of the weeds. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed. Everyone say, sow good seed.
Sow good seed.
In his field, but while everyone was sleeping, the enemy came in and sowed some weeds. So in this moment, the disciples are like, oh no, Jesus, there are some weeds in our harvest of wheat. Should we pull them out? He's like, no, because if you do, you will uproot the wheat. So in this process of life, of me trying to understand God and understand his principles, I really had to go through some weeds, which was weeds of insecurity, weeds of comparison, weeds of, you name it, I had them all. But God just wants us to be all in for him, and that was what I couldn't do because I had leaned on my own understanding.
God.
2 years ago, when I came to the end of myself, East Campus was launching, and I decided that we needed to be all in. So I joined women's prayer. I learned how to fight my battles through prayer. I learned how to pray for my husband. He started going to men's prayer. He became an emerge captain. Together, we became all in with God.
So good.
Malachi 3:10 says, the Lord says, test me in this, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to contain it. The shift of our world completely changed when we completely went all in, became residual tithers. I can't even explain the blessing of my life that has changed when we became all in. I learned how to stop complaining and start praising and praying for my husband, which was miraculous in itself. My husband had the right men to pray for him and believe in him to start his own construction company. And in this, as I started the internship last year, like I said, I have 3 kids. They're in 3 different schools, 3 different sports. Like it's a lot. And I would say 2 months into it, a freak accident happened where my husband accidentally shot himself with like the tiniest nail. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? He just got his license, he just started his business, and so my flesh started to dwindle. And I'm like, no, we have tithers' rights. And there's and go to the hospital, and at the first hospital at Grossmont, it's mayhem there. There's he doesn't get seen, so he ends up going to Sharp. They don't see the nail. Okay, he's like, it's there. One of our friends from Women's Prayer, who is a nurse, saw him at Grossmont and was like, hey, did you guys get seen? We go back to Grossmont, and because of a person that I had connection with at Women's Prayer, vouched for him to find a doctor that got the nail out, and all because we went all in for God. So my question is, are you all in?